Welcome back, beautiful souls. It is Lexi, and I am with you for a solo episode today. We are going to set an intention together for the month of September. So you'll be seeing this episode on September 1st versus on its regular Monday release date. The reason I wanted to do this is to, first of all, give you guys something short and sweet once a month, and to also allow you to kind of journey with me, with us on a topic for the month and maybe take it into your actual journal at home. Bring these thoughts, these ideas, these intentions into your mindset on a daily basis for a month. Like, really allow yourself to sit with an idea for a month's time. It's a long time. And yeah, I felt like this was something that could be useful. I know earlier on I offered a tarot reading. It was one of our first episodes, and we're still new. So seeing how people are reacting and kind of responding to these types of episodes it's an evolving thing. I want to give valuable content, and yeah, a handful of you reached out and mentioned that the short and sweet episode from me, the 20th episode, actually really resonated with you. So I so appreciate that. I appreciate the DMs and the reviews, and for those who even know me personally, the text messages. It's all really validating, and I'm just the type of person that enjoys these validations. I love to know that there's help and healing and connectedness going on, and even just like the affirmation or the validation that, hey, I'm not the only one feeling this way, from a listener's perspective or my own perspective. It's refreshing. It's like a little fuel to keep you going. So my intention for September that I wanted to share with you, and that I feel like could resonate with a lot of you, especially moms, entrepreneurs, career-driven women, is the idea of worthiness. Yeah, that word, worthy, worthiness, self-worth. It's a big one. It's a big one that a lot of us struggle with. I think especially after having children and this rebirth into motherhood, this idea of worth can come into play and can be a little heavy sometimes. We're suddenly putting other people's needs very much in front of our own. I mean, we have to. We're moms. This is part of the job. But at some point, maybe we lose a little bit of sight into what we're actually worthy of. We are worthy of alone time. We are worthy of pursuing our own dreams. We are worthy of putting ourselves first if we need to. Tapping into our community, our partner, our family, our friends for help when we need it, so that we can allow ourselves to feel and experience our worth. And this thought came to me last week, actually, when I was in urgent care with my son on my lap. It was our second time back into urgent care. He had been sick with a fever for multiple days in a row. The antibiotics were not helping him. They, in fact, were making him feel worse. Poor guy. Like, every time he had a dose, he had to throw up, or like they were just way too strong. But they wouldn't prescribe me something different without coming back in and having another look. And so we were there, and he was on my lap, and he was tired and snuggling me, and I was sitting there unshowered, loads of work and stress on my shoulders, And yeah, quite frankly, feeling a little bit sorry for myself. Hey, that happens sometimes. You're allowed to feel sorry for yourself sometimes too. Because I was the default parent and I had to be the one home. I have my own business, I make my own schedule. So naturally, I am the one who, does more of the runs to dance and swim and sick days. And that's okay. I love you, Garrett, my husband. I know you're listening. I love you and everything you do for our family. So, and all of us love our partners. And it just happens. Like sometimes there is a parent that is the default parent and they have to take care of these things. It's part of life. It's part of the role. It's part of a partnership. And that's where I was at. So day 4 of a sick child, everything that I had that week, including podcast interviews and seeing clients and meeting with one of my employees, like for coffee and just all of these things had to be changed. My whole week got completely redirected. And that was frustrating for me because I'm coming up on a big deadline with work, and it was just not great timing for me to be the default parent. And I found myself in this urgent care thinking that that was connected to my worth. Like, for example, my husband makes more money than me, and that's okay. That's our dynamic. So I was like, well, I have to be the one here because he's worthy of being the one at the office because he makes more money than me. And I found these thought processes that were cycling through my head, very much I was attaching my self-worth to my income. And that's a problem, right? That's a problem. And I believe that it's a problem for a lot of people, not just our finances, but our self image, what we wear, what we drive, what kind of home we live in. We very much look to validate our self worth in other things, material things, wealth, our career, our title, it goes on and on, right? It truly does. But I want to rephrase it from the point of, is the person who is a CEO and makes more money than you worthy of more than you are? Why attach your self-worth to who you are, like what you do for a living, what you make, where you live, even like what your kids do? Or like, my kid is an honors student. Like, for some reason, we get so caught up in believing that our worth is identified by our surroundings. So my theme for September is around the idea of worthiness and coming back to your intuitive knowing of what you are worthy of. You are worthy of all of the same things as the person standing next to you. Now, I understand that we could take this very far down a rabbit hole of, you've got the person next to you who is a criminal, for example. We're not going to go there, okay? We're going to go to the point of you're comparing yourself to others and you're attaching your worth from a place of comparison and lack. Lack is big. when it comes to self-worth. So your success and your worthiness can sometimes be defined by what you feel like you're lacking. So for me, especially as a new mom, I felt as though I was lacking some of these things that I saw other moms were naturally good at. And that made me feel like I wasn't as good as them. And that comes back to worth. That comes back to your self-worth. Now, I have journal prompts and I'll put them in the show notes. And I invite you to come back to this episode with your journal or once a week to these prompts and continue to journal and write about it and feel into it and what comes up for you. Because when I wrote the questions down, I actually found that I had a hard time answering them, truly. So, for example, what makes you worthy? It's an interesting question. It's an interesting way to phrase it. What makes you worthy? What are the immediate things that come to mind? What is it that you're actually trying to be worthy of? Are the material possessions coming in again? The success that you think you have to have? What are we worthy of? And why are we identifying and attaching our self-worth to some of those things? In a nutshell, I mean, when it comes back to the basics, aren't we all worthy of love? Isn't that kind of just like the basis, the very basic piece of it? We're worthy of love. We are all worthy of success. We are all worthy of beauty in our day-to-day life. We are worthy of the ability to have time to create and play. We are worthy of beautiful friendships. We are each worthy of loving partners and family. So if you feel like there is a piece of you that thinks that those things are lacking in your life, come back to that idea of lack and why it's there. Do you feel like you're not worthy of it? Is it not a part of your life because of your worth? Because I'm here to tell you that's not the case. That's something that internally can be worked through because you are worthy. You are worthy of all of it. Now, when I'm thinking about this, I have this thought of, like in order to experience this worth, we need to make space for it. So what does that look like? How can we make space? I feel like, just to put this into perspective, I feel like I'm worthy of this company that I'm trying to build. I am again attaching all of this worth to my business and my success when ultimately it is just about the fact that I'm worthy of having an outlet for play where I can meet wonderful people and help provide for my family. But when it comes basically down to it, I need to make space for this growth. So instead of looking and seeing what I'm lacking, I am switching my perspective to see what I can make space for. And I think there's something really potent in that. You can't take on more without the space for it. And that does come back to your worth and what you think you're worthy of. Because if you don't think you're worthy, you won't make the space, even subconsciously. You won't make the space for it because deep down, you don't feel like you're worthy. So these questions, these journal prompts are really here just to allow you to explore the question of like, what is worth? What are you worthy of? Why do you identify those ideas of worth with who you are and with the idea of worth in general? And I just want to point out, I'm reading my notes here because I did journal on this. And, I want you to know that it's up to you to define your worth. It's not up to anybody else. It's not up to society. It's not up to how you are perceived by other people. It's up to you. And so when you're having those thoughts that you're not worthy, like I was in the urgent care lobby, reel it back in and focus on what you do have and ask yourself, what does worth even mean to you? And define that. Define it because you deserve your own lens to look through. And what does that lens look like? So that's what I have for you today. I think coming back to this is huge. It's potent. It is important. You are important and you are worthy, and journal on it. I dare you. Because oftentimes when we journal too, so much more can come through, and you can find some more answers. Hopefully there is a light bulb, a moment. That's what I've got. I would love for you to DM me, Soul Starter Co. on Instagram, how you define worth, or even share it in the comments of this post. When it's shared, let me know, because I'm curious. I'm curious how other people look at it and how other people value their worth. And ultimately, as you walk around and view other people all around you, understand that they're worthy too. And I think that helps to give other people grace. You never know what someone's going through. So that's that. That's what I have for you. If you like these types of episodes, please let me know. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye-bye for now.